started. My name is Mariah Paco, and I'm a developmental service worker student with CTS, and I've been doing my placement with Near North Palliative Care Network for about 2 months now. Yeah, let's get started. So we're going to be talking about the description, a few other terms, who's at greatest risk of becoming an elder orphan, what life is like without family, a few common issues and concerns, some self-care, and if you have any questions that I can answer at the end, we can talk about that as well. So what is an elder orphan? Now you might be wondering what an elder orphan is. It's someone usually over the age of 65 who doesn't have any immediate family, such as a spouse, children, parents, or grandchildren. The term is used for seniors who live alone in the community with no one to care for them. They may be socially isolated, adding to their vulnerability, and have a higher risk of loneliness. A 2016 Canadian census found that 33% of seniors aged 65 and older are women who live alone, and 17.5% are men who live alone. This number will most likely continue to increase as the last of the baby boomer generation has now hit over 56 years of age. Sometimes elder orphans may have children, but not direct access to them. They may live far away, or they may be estranged from their children who are unwilling to help. Elder orphans usually don't have anyone looking out for them. They are one of the most vulnerable groups and are more susceptible to elder abuse scams and are reluctant to appoint a power of attorney. They don't have anyone to express their wishes to, have anyone to discuss their wills, or have anyone to help them plan. So, some have said that the correct term would not to call them orphans, as they have had parents. The word elder orphan may come off as ageist, pitying, and stereotypical. So here are some other terms you can use instead. Aging solo, aging alone, aging without children, growing older without a family, single and childless. There are some other terms that I did encounter while searching for elder orphan. I don't like using these terms as well. Frail elderly, patients without surrogates, social isolation, unbefriended elder, and vulnerable elderly. However, keep in mind that all of these are on a case-by-case basis, and you shouldn't judge anyone unless you know the person or what's going on. Everyone deserves respect and dignity. So there are some people that are greater risk of aging alone, but it could happen to any of us. Here are a few examples of people who have a greater chance of becoming an elder orphan. People who have lost their spouses and have not remarried, people who outlive their children, people with disabled children. Some people can't rely on them to look after them or their assets when they get older, depending on the child's disability. Members of the LGBTQ community, they're less likely to have children than straight couples. People who don't like children, and people who are just unable to have children. So when we're younger, and even when we're older, some people don't think about it, such as advanced care planning or preparing our will. Who's going to look after us when we can no longer look after ourselves? What about financial stability, where we're going to live? Not everyone grows up to get married or have children, and even if they do, things like divorce happens or their children move away from them, where they can't reach out to them as often as they'd like. Some may have family but can't rely on them for what they need. There are multiple factors that can contribute to this. We all have different situations, but what matters the most is how you deal with it and how you plan for your future. I can't really speak to the question on what it's like without family because I'm thankful and that I have a family. Some may find growing older without family lonely and isolating. However, others may enjoy it. They may have more time to seek out their passions in life, such as art, writing, learning, traveling, excelling in their career, volunteering, building homes and schools in less fortunate countries, whatever it may be. So here's a short film that I found, and hopefully it, it can describe a little bit. So I'm going to turn up my volume, and I hope that you're going to be able to hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Okay, great.
You have 0 new messages and 1 saved message. Message 1.
Hi Flora, it's Heather. I hope you're doing well. I was wondering if you have space in your diary to meet up for some afternoon tea. Give me a call when you get this. Thank you. Hi, it's Heather. I'm sorry I've missed your call. Please leave a message.
It's okay. I like living alone. I get plenty of time to myself to think. I like looking out of the window, watching TV. I did have a friend. Her name was Heather, but sadly, time caught up with her. I also like talking to my family, but I haven't heard from them for some time. Maybe they're having their phones replaced, but maybe they'll call soon.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you just sign for this, please?
Oh, hello. Do please come in.
I-
Come in and have tea and biscuits.
I'm sorry, I've got to deliver more.
Please do come in. Would you like tea or coffee?
Two would be lovely, please. Thank you.
How would you like your tea?
Can I just have a dash of milk and 2 sugars, please? Thank you.
Do you deliver around here often?
Yeah. I hand-order deliveries around here.
Gosh, I bet that's jolly hard work.
You bet, yeah.
I remember when I was your age, I used to work for the post office. It was such fun.
Well, thank you for everything, but I've got to be heading off now, so thank
Oh
you.
no! Oh, can you wait just a moment? Just a minute. I've forgotten something. Look at these lovely pictures of my grandchildren.
Aww. They're absolute gems. How often do you see them?
Not very often. Maybe once a week, once a fortnight. I really can't remember. The time goes by so fast.
Oh. I love visiting my grandparents. They're such interesting people.
Really? How lovely.
Hello? 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 Can you just sign for this, please?
Please come in for tea and biscuits.
I'm sorry, I got places to go, people to see.
Please come in.
I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Okay. So as you can see in that video, she really, I mean, she's lonely. She's clearly lost track of time, and her family just doesn't call her, which is pretty sad. So even though she has a family, they don't reach out to her. And that is a really common occurrence. That video was based out of the UK, and they do have a really high population of lonely and isolated seniors. So another thing we're going to talk about is some common issues and concerns. So like everyone, there's issues and concerns at different stages in our lives, but once again, a big thing is to plan and not to rush at last minute. So you put certain things into place that, you really don't want, but were kind of forced into or felt pressured into. So here are a few that I found while researching. So first one, safety. So when seniors are living alone, safety is a big concern. 1 in 3 people over the age of 65 experience a fall every year. As we get older, we become more frail and are more prone to breaking bones. What if we can't get to a phone to call anyone? So something to consider is a Lifeline emergency medical alert bracelet or a pendant. They are lightweight, waterproof, and comfortable to wear, or so I'm told. They ring to a response center where the dispatcher can send help. The pendants also have automatic fall detection. So another thing is an Alexa or Google device. So making sure mine's not listening. So you can call out to them and ask them to call emergency services. And I was reading an article where they actually respond a lot quicker and send help than the emergency medical alert system. So they also have apps that can set reminders to notify you when your medication is due for you to take, etc. So other things, home security systems, if that's something you feel you need, adding an extra lock on the door, installing a peephole at the door, that's a great one too. So you can, see who's at your door. If you don't know them, don't let them in. Keeping emergency numbers handy. If we're in a panic, we don't always remember those numbers offhand. So keep them on a list somewhere where you'll remember, tape them to the inside of a cupboard. That way they're right there. Check batteries and smoke and carbon monoxide detectors regularly. Another thing I was reading about is if you're planning on aging in home, or just getting older in home, anyone should keep this in mind really, is seniorizing your home. So removing fall hazards, as you can see in the picture, it's actually quite terrifying. Removing long stretching extension cords. That's a big fall hazard right there. So another thing is make sure that your rugs have rubberized backings. So even though they may be decorative, they're not very safe. I've fallen on them a couple times in my clients' homes, and they're not safe. Some other things you can do is install grab bars. You can install a ramp at the door as it gets harder to move around. Another thing to consider is the stairs. So if you live on the top floor of your house, consider moving to the first floor. So making sure lighting is sufficient. That's a good one. Yeah, there's also senior-friendly apartment complexes if you decide to consider moving. Illness. So who's going to take care of me when I'm ill may be another concern for those who don't have family. Even those who have family may not want to feel like they're burdening their family or just don't want to be looked after by others. There are places you can move into depending on your level of care needed. And for those who want to age in home, you can hire a nurse or PSW to come in and help you with your activities of daily living. A good thing to start planning is an appointed medical team that you trust, as well as a power of attorney, which we can talk about later. So money, what if I outlive my money? Creating a budget now and setting money aside. That's one thing I need to do. I'm not very good with my budget. Shopping for sales and using local resources, flyers or apps on your phone is the best to find deals. So there is an app on your phone. If you go to the App Store, it's called Flip, F-L-I-P-P. And what it does, it looks at all the local grocery stores, finds the item you're looking for cheapest. It's a great way to save money. Making changes to your lifestyle may help, such as not buying items that you don't need. Traveling every few years as opposed to every year, although who knows when we're going to be traveling again. And selling items you're able to part with. Start eating in more and cooking if you're able to. And for those who are willing and able, a part-time job is a great way to earn some extra income and to meet new people, as well as help with feelings of isolation. Having a sense of purpose and routine is also very healthy. So vulnerability. Canadians lose on average $100 million in scams every year, 20 million being from the elderly. So there's romance scams. People use fake dating profiles to target an individual, often taking time to build a fake bond or relationship before creating some sort of lie to lure them into sending them money. You know, saying that they got caught up in jail and they need you to send money to bail them out, etc. Lottery scams. Sure, we've all gotten this one on the phone. You won $5,000, press 1 to claim it. So the person on the other line will gather the information from you and they won't give you money, but they'll definitely take it from you. So another big one is the CRA scam. If you watch the news, I'm sure you've heard of it. So it's not just a scam on the elderly, but it's definitely worth mentioning because it is widespread. The RCMP estimates that it has cost thousands of taxpayers around $15 million. Scammers call people's homes as the Canada Revenue Agents. They're really aggressive and they state that you have unpaid taxes that need to be paid immediately and give a number to call. Threats include arrest, deportation, frozen bank accounts, and other undisclosed legal consequences until you pay what you owe. I've gotten those calls a few times and I was curious, so I pressed the number, which I don't recommend that you do, but they are extremely aggressive. They ask who they're talking to, and that's how they get you to start talking. They ask for your name, and then that's when they start threatening. So another thing is financial abuse. That's a big one. So it's mostly from family, you know, nieces or nephews. It really depends. They can pressure you into signing things that you don't really understand, or, you know, slowly start asking you for money. Just be aware of things like that. So there's many scams out there, but the biggest thing is to educate yourself and those around you. There's also a website, the Anti-Fraud Center.ca. You can type that into Google, where you can report them. So getting around town, transportation. So according to the Ontario Ministry of Transportation, even small changes as a result of aging can affect your driving. In Ontario, a person's driver's license can be suspended if a doctor or optometrist feels that the person has a condition that may impair their ability to drive. In Ontario, seniors over the age of 80 are required to be retested every 2 years to ensure that they are safe to drive. Some things that may affect our driving ability as we get older include eyesight. By the age of 75, almost half of us will have early cataracts. Hearing, this could prevent us from hearing horns to ensure that we don't get into accidents, or sirens, so we know to pull over. Reaction time to avoid accidents becomes slower. Flexibility to be able to check blind spots, etc. And some medications can really affect your ability to impair driving. You know how they have the warning, don't operate while taking this medication. So some alternatives include the city bus, taxi, rideshare programs such as Uber, and there are some out there. And there are some volunteer organizations that do help seniors get around. Also, if you live in apartment complexes, there's certain buses or transportation services that sometimes come once a week to bring you to the grocery store around where you need to go. If you go to the MTO, there is a booklet that is designed specifically for seniors to help with aging and driving. It's really great. You just go to mto.gov.ontario and it's right there for you. I can share the link later if you're interested. So making meals. It may be harder to go for groceries or to stand for longer periods of time to prepare meals and to get around the kitchen and cook as we get older. There are some services that can help. I know in North Bay, there are a couple grocery stores that deliver. So grocery delivery, select stores and services, Meals on Wheels, and Skip the Dishes. In regards to Skip the Dishes, it can become pretty pricey, and being careful to not always order fast food, as there are good options available. There's local food banks, daily meal programs, senior centers, and local legions that have special events like fish fries, so you can take a night off cooking. They don't always cook fish. There's other things as well. And if you call Ontario 211, they can give you other resources, or northeasthealthline.ca. You go there. There's a whole variety of transportation, services, PSWs, nurses, anything. And just keep in mind, in regards to food services, anything may be affected due to COVID. So social isolation. According to the CDC, social isolation significantly increased a person's risk of premature death from all causes, a risk that may rival those of smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. It was also associated with about a 50% increased risk of dementia. Poor social relationships, characterized by social isolation or loneliness, was associated with a 29% increased risk of heart disease and a 32% increased risk of stroke. Loneliness was associated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide. Loneliness among heart failure patients was associated with a nearly 4 times increased risk of death, 68% increased risk of hospitalization, and 57% increased risk of emergency department visits. So those are quite a lot of statistics there, but it's quite bad for your health, as you can see. Some suggestions to combat social isolation would be to adopt a family. So in other words, find a neighbor that you connect with and, go visit with them. If they have a family, even if they don't, try and get out and meet friends. Go over, visit for a cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever you like, or go for dinner once a week. So as I was researching, there's also programs now where you can adopt a senior, which is really cool. You can be paired with someone just to talk and visit with. And there's also kids now that are, some of them don't have grandparents either. So they're paired virtually with a grandparent, so to speak. Another good tip to try is to talk to people when you're just out and about. Something as simple as asking a clerk at the grocery store, "How are you today?" Just getting out, saying hi to someone, smiling at someone. I don't know about you, but when I'm walking down the road and I smile at someone or they smile at me, it makes me feel better. So you can try picking up the phone, calling a friend or family member for just a few minutes every day. It can ease the feelings of loneliness and isolation. I know it's winter right now, but when the sunshine comes back, sitting outside, reading a book, listening to music. Another good idea could be to volunteer whenever you're able to, for however long you're able to. Get a part-time job or join a club. So next, I have another video on who will be my power of attorney. This video is based on the states, so but it still goes against the same, or goes with the same principles.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Care Plan. I am Jacqueline Boyd, the owner and founder. I'm so glad you've chosen to join us today, and if you like these videos, please do subscribe. We work hard to bring new content to you regularly. Today we're going to be talking about who will be my power of attorney. This is a question that many people are in some ways afraid to ask themselves. We as a culture tend to not look at our older years, and so the idea of assigning someone to make decisions for us if we are not able to can be pretty intimidating. Power of attorney, in case you aren't aware, I have another video that talks about advanced directives. Power of attorneys are a form of advanced directives. And so take a look at that video. We'll put a link in the box below. What I hope to help you think about today is how to choose that person. And we're going to focus a little bit on power of attorney for health. So how you think about who is equipped, willing, and able to act in my stead around my healthcare issues. I think the first thing to look at is who's in your circle of support and what are their skills. So many of us may feel like it's too big of a burden to ask somebody to be a power of attorney, but you don't want to count anyone out because you want to allow people to say yes if they are the right fit. So for example, at this point, my power of attorney is my sister, but if something happened to her, I would have to think long and hard about who has the medical or healthcare knowledge or is comfortable talking to doctors, who is maybe younger than me and likely to be around in the years when I need someone, and who do I trust to not just act out of their own sense of guilt or their own preferences, but will actually listen to my preferences and make sure that they act in accordance with my wishes. I think those are the top issues, is making sure that you have somebody who is willing, able to show up in this way, and that you trust to actually do what you ask of them. Because it's hard, right? It's hard when these decisions are being made, when medical or healthcare decisions are being made, and when you're in the position to make those decisions for another person, you need to be crystal clear and confident that you know exactly what that other person wants. So the first step is really looking at that circle of support, identifying people that have skill sets that you think would make them a good power of attorney, and then sitting with it for a while. These are decisions that should take place over time. It's not okay, my doctor asked me about it and I gotta put somebody down on the spot. Or I know that I'm gonna go get my will done, so I'm just gonna choose the next of kin, or my sibling or my child, or the oldest child. I had to have this conversation with my wonderful grandmother, who I love and adore, but she chose for her power of attorney. Her instinct was, well, I need to give my power of attorney to this person because I don't want him to feel left out. She had already named another family member as power of attorney for finance, and she only made this other person power of attorney for health because she thought, oh, I need something for him to do. And that's the wrong reason. And so the right reasons are what we've already talked about. Is the person capable? Are they willing? And do you trust that they will be able to execute on your wishes? So I just want to encourage you all to really give yourselves plenty of time to have these conversations with yourself and with the person that you're choosing as power of attorney. I want to encourage you all, no matter what your age, no matter what your health condition right now, we should, every single one of us, have that paperwork in place, because no day is promised, and when you need it, you want it to be there. Otherwise, there's oftentimes systems where the doctors or the court may choose someone for you. And we work too hard to live and succeed in this life, in my opinion, to leave those most vulnerable years on the table or in someone else's hands. If you want to talk through or think through how to make these decisions, I encourage you to call us. As usual, we are here and happy to help. It doesn't have to be something that's scary or something you're afraid of. It can actually be a lot of fun. I sometimes will encourage people, if you have a group of friends that are thinking about this issue, have dinner, have a potluck, have a glass of wine together, and just talk about what this might look like, or who you trust, or how to make these decisions. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. It can really be empowering, and make sure that you're protected for the long term. So I hope to see you for our next video. Thank you very much for joining us and being part of the Care Plan community. And as always, reach out if you need anything. Take good care.
Okay. So I liked that video because, that's something that some people don't think about or don't want to think about. I was sharing this presentation with someone, and they are, about 70 years of age, and they don't have a power of attorney. And then it got them thinking that they need to go rewrite their will. So it just kind of, gets the wheels turning. And as the woman stated in the video, it doesn't have to be, an upsetting thing, turn it into a party. But yeah, don't rush. Make sure you find someone that's willing, able, capable, trustworthy, and don't just give it to someone because you think that they should have it. So self-care, very important at any age, but of course, as you get older, you want to take care of yourself. So talking to your doctor, make a list of your top 2 to 3 concerns when you make an appointment, as to not make your appointment too long, and so that you don't forget things. Also, write things down at home as they happen. That way you're not stuck last minute when you're at the doctor. Okay, what did I want to talk to them about? Bring along any medications that you're taking. It's really important because medications interact with one another. In case you need to be prescribed anything else, your doctor will need to know what medication you're taking and at what dose. Bring a pen and paper. That way you can write down anything your doctor says, in case you have trouble remembering it for later. Make a list with your current and your past health problems. And you can consider bringing a friend along. Keep in mind, you can ask them to leave for later. Bringing a friend along, sometimes you can overlook things, and they can add additional information if it's someone you really trust, you've been talking to them about your problems. So, yeah, once again, write down your concerns as they come to you, so you remember when your appointment comes. So nutrition. This is quite a long one, so bear with me. So as you age, your body needs less food, but that does depend on your level of activity and your muscle mass. But it may need more of certain nutrients, such as vitamins or minerals. Eat a variety of healthy foods to make sure you get enough of those different nutrients. Choose vegetables and fruits, whole grain foods, and protein foods that you enjoy. Frozen and canned options can be just as healthy and easier to prepare, but always watch the ingredients, of course, and the sodium. If your sense or taste or smell has changed, try different spices and herbs to add more flavor instead of salt. You can switch up the texture and temperature of foods to make them more interesting. If some foods have become more difficult to eat, try choosing and preparing foods differently. For example, for a softer texture, try cooking vegetables instead of eating them raw. So prepare food when you have the most energy. Prepare meals and snacks when you have the most energy to cook. Find recipes that only use a few ingredients and require little to no cooking. Use these recipes on days when you're too tired to cook. So make enough for a few meals. Cook once, eat twice. Make meals that are great as leftovers, or make a larger amount and freeze the extras. You can also alternate a cooking day with a friend. This allows you to share the task of making meals and gives you a chance to try each other's recipes and food traditions. You can eat with others. It may encourage you to try other foods and that you need to stay healthy. To eat with others as much as you can, try joining a lunch group, having friends over for a potluck, and alternate meal days with a friend. Of course, this can be hard right now with the current situation, and some of us are, well, we're still on lockdown. But you can always, drop a plate off at a friend's door. I know I cook and bring it to people sometimes. Another good idea is to create an emergency food supply in case you can't make it to the store. So some things that you can keep on hand include peanut butter, skim milk powder, canned vegetables and fruits, canned or jarred pasta sauce, canned fish, beans and lentils, whole grain pasta, rice and oatmeal, and a few other things that you can keep in your freezer just in case. Whole grain bread, lean meats and poultry, vegetables and fruits. Exercise. So exercising is a great way to relieve stress, keep your body in shape as well as your mind. Seniors who exercise regularly are less likely to rely on others and promote their ability to be able to walk, bathe, cook, eat, and dress. Regular exercise as a senior without overexerting yourself can help promote endorphins to help you feel more happy, promote pain mitigation, decrease stress, promote better sleep, live longer, and have an overall better quality of life. Exercising regularly also improves balance and can decrease one's chance of falling by 23%. Regular exercise can also decrease your chance of developing Alzheimer's and dementia by nearly 50%. So I really could go on about the benefits of exercising for forever, but the most important thing is to find a routine that you enjoy, that keeps you happy. And another important thing is to talk to your doctor before beginning any new exercise program. That way you don't hurt yourself or anything like that. So proper sleep. So most healthy older adults need 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, but some things may affect a good sleep, such as insomnia, drinking alcohol or caffeine, certain medications, prostate or kidney issues. They can wake you up throughout the night. Sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome. So some things to help with getting a better sleep at night could be go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Getting that routine is really good for you. Don't take naps longer than 20 minutes each day. Only use your bed for sleep, no TV or eating. Avoid nicotine and alcohol in the evening. Alcohol may put you to sleep, but it can definitely wake you up during the night. Don't lay in bed for longer than 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, get up and go to a different room. Try and do something quiet for a little bit, like reading or listening to music, but don't do anything that stimulates your brain, like watching TV or going on your phone. And then try going back to bed. Once again, staying active and exercising during the day can really help you get a better sleep at night. Another thing could be your medications. So ask your doctor if any of your medications could be affecting your sleep. Certain pills such as beta blockers, cardiovascular drugs, and antidepressants could disrupt your sleeping patterns. So I want to talk about this wonderful lady. She came up quite a bit while I was researching elder orphans. Her name is Carol Marak. She's the founder of the Elder Orphan Facebook group that has over 10,000 members. She has some great tips on her website. And she also has a YouTube channel called Solo and Smart. So she's got tons of videos there and has lots of great tips. And here's a list of my references. And then I don't know if we can open up to some questions if anyone is interested and would like to ask any questions.
That's a great presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for joining me, everyone.
So if anybody has questions, there's a chat bar. I've also put a survey link in the chat bar. So if everybody can just quickly fill out the survey, that would be great. And if you happen to think of a question later on, you can always email it to me and I can get it over to Mariah and we can do it that way as well.
Yeah.
But this was really good information. It's a very great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I had, you know, at first I was just Googling elder orphan and a lot didn't come up because it's a relatively new term, you know, for something that's been around forever, people growing old without family. And I really had to think outside the box. But, you know, a lot of people don't think about advanced care planning or, you know, getting outside and doing things, even though you guys have done presentations on social isolation and loneliness, but it does affect you. And like I said, even I had showed my presentation to someone else and it just really made them think like, I need to get started now because you just don't know when something could happen.
And I think another great thing too would that people could do would be something like pet therapy.
Oh yes.
Get a pet or something if you're able and capable of taking care of that pet. You know, it's I think it would be helpful because for me, I'm a single mom of two. So when my children go to their dads, I'm by myself for the week, but I have my dog as my companion, you know?
Oh yeah.
And without my dog, it would be like really lonely. So
I'm the same way. I have a cat.
yeah, I have a cat as well.
And he's got his spot on the bed. He literally sleeps right beside me and he comes and wakes me up every morning. He's hilarious.
It does. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Like I said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me and I can get back to Mariah, or you can send it on the chat bar right now. And just a reminder that there's a survey on the chat bar.
Okay, well, once again, I wanted to thank everyone for joining me today for my first presentation. I really, really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And Michaela wrote, thank you, Mariah.
Thanks, Michaela. Okay, bye, everyone.
Okay, bye, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.